Hello, sports fan. This is Stephen Hill for Sports Choice Plus, and I'm bringing you a very special breakdown. We've got George Karl going against Mark Jackson. Before we get right into that, I want to make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can get all the updates each and every time we put content out at Sports Choice Plus. And without further ado, we're getting right into the action. This was very interesting. The Blazers were taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. In the midst of the basketball game, you had Mark Jackson, who does the color commentary for ABC, and you're looking at some of the comments he made. He talked about Carmelo Anthony's defense being vastly improved, and Jeff Van Gundy chimed in, and as far as they go back and forth with their friendly banter, and Jeff Van Gundy specifically said, it was warranted. All the criticism that Carmelo Anthony has gotten throughout his career about only playing offense and not really playing defense was very much warranted because it showed on a lot of the teams that he was on, from the Nuggets to the New York Knicks and to other teams, Oklahoma City Thunder, Houston Rockets, blase. But Mark Jackson came back with some interesting comments to Jeff Van Gundy, and he basically said that not only does Carmelo share that blame, but others share the responsibility of who allowed that defense to be played. So in a nutshell, Mark Jackson saying, hey, whoever let him go without playing defense needs to be blamed as well. Not just Carmelo Anthony, but you have the power as a head coach to make that player play defense, if you will. Then George Karl responded on the internet, as far as social media, asking, how many all-star teams did you make? How many defensive players of the year did you make? How many NBA finals did you make? And how many teams became dynasties right after you left as head coach? That last one there was pretty heavy there, and it goes to say it looks like George Karl was firing back, feeling a little defensive. Basically, if you know George Karl's past as far as being the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, the Seattle Supersonics, the Milwaukee Bucks, that he's had run-in with a couple of players, and specifically Carmelo. He notated him in the book as being kind of like a cancer, somebody who didn't play defense and only played offense and really didn't want to put in the work and things like that. So Mark Jackson finally responded, by the way, I never lost to you as a player or coach. And then he put in there that little nugget that Jackson beat the Denver Nuggets in 2013 when the Nuggets were a 3 seed and the Golden State Warriors, when a young Steph, a young Clay and company, beat them in the playoffs. What this basically boils down to is accountability. Carmelo Anthony is playing a lot better on both sides of the ball right now than he's ever played in his career. You look at him actually giving maximum effort on defense for the Portland Trail Blazers, and you're also looking at what he's able to do as contribution to this young team to help them get over the hurdle against the Los Angeles Lakers. So in this, I think that, George Karl may have been in his feelings. Mark Jackson is pointing out an obvious point. He's saying, hey, look, Melo didn't play defense early on. He's now in a system where he's forced to play defense if he wants to continue his NBA career. And it was spun a little bit by Jeff Van Gundy to say, hey, these things were warranted. And Mark Jackson was just pointing out the fact that, hey, he's had several coaches that allowed this to go on, and they didn't fix it, whether it be D'Antoni, whether it be George Karl, whether it be Billy Donovan in Oklahoma City, whether it be D'Antoni again in Houston. So it's so many different factors to this. When you're asking George Karl, ask the question, have you made Defensive Player of the Year? Have you took a team to the finals? When you're looking at George Karl and his track record, he's had a lot of superstars on his team. When you look at a Gary Payton, when you look at a Carmelo Anthony, Sean Kemp, Ray Allen, Glenn Robinson, he's had some pretty good guys. And you've had other players chime in, and like Baron Davis, who said, yeah, you're a Hall of Fame coach, but you've ruined more careers than you've helped. And, George Karl gets famously a pass because he's one of the coaching tree people from, North Carolina, and, Dean Smith and that whole rich heritage of coaches. So in this point, I don't really see a negative from what Mark Jackson said. He was pointing out an obvious. But George Karl definitely came back with the sting at the end about the dynasty part. So on this one, these guys, when it comes down to it, they have to communicate. I think a simple phone call could squash this beef here. But when you're looking at the criticisms of Jackson as a coach. A lot of people have talked about how as soon as he left, the Golden State Warriors took off as far as offensively, defensively. The same pieces primarily, your core pieces are the same. And they were able to win multiple championships and go to the finals multiple times without Jackson. George Karl never really completed the trifecta as a head coach. He never really won a championship, even though he had talented teams, talented rosters, and, you know, from Carmelo, Kenyon Martin, J.R. Smith, Allen Iverson, Gary Payton, the list goes on. He's had a lot of talented guys. But you got a couple of different NBA players like Baron Davis that did chime in with some heavy heat for George Karl as well, saying how's he even a Hall of Famer? So what do you guys think? Do you think Mark Jackson was wrong in his commentary? Do you think George Karl was wrong in his commentary? Leave your comments in the comment section below. It's just a big mess, folks. But as always, we want to thank you guys for your support. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. And don't forget, we're going to have content coming each and every week. So go ahead and make sure you subscribe so you can get the notifications first. Thank you so very much, and y'all have a great day.